Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Thunder Alley here. Today we're going to be previewing the Week 9 game versus the Cleveland Browns. This is on the road against a desperate team. That season is on the line. If you fall to 2-7, you are absolutely cooked. You're basically not going to be able to overcome that unless you win out, which is possible but not probable, right? So the Chargers need to realize that a team that's desperate, they've got to go in there and play their best football, and I expect them to do exactly that. Let's be real, the Browns, they're not that great. I mean, you take a look at where they rank. They're 18th in points allowed, 12th against the pass, 18th against the run. Cleveland could be without a couple of defensive starters as well. Cornerback Denzel Ward is in concussion protocol. Linebacker Jeremiah Owuzu-Koramoah is out with a neck injury. Jordan Hicks has been out the last 3 of 4 contests with an elbow and triceps injury. So that's 3 very high-level players right there that the Browns could be without. Myles Garrett and Zary Smith, though, will play. We're talking about edges that have 36 and 24 quarterback pressures, respectfully. So Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are going to have to be on their A game. Deshaun Watson, as we all know, went down with a season-ending Achilles injury, and Jameis Winston got the start in Week 8 against the Ravens. He ended up completing 27 of 41 passes for 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. We also need to add context. Well, 1, it's in the division, but 2, the Ravens secondary is absolutely abysmal. I mean, they are 30th in terms of allowing quarterbacks to be able to put up numbers on them. So I expect Justin Herbert to have a big-time game. And if you do play fantasy football and you're looking for a starter, go get Justin Herbert. He's probably on the waiver wire. I think he's going to have a massive game, just like he had a massive game last week. He had a massive game against the Cardinals. It just didn't translate into touchdowns. So I think the Chargers will be fine on the offensive side of the ball. And in terms of the defensive side of the ball, well, Nick Chubb's back, but he's carried the ball 27 times for 74 yards and a touchdown in 2 games. Cleveland is 27th in rushing, averaging only 92.5 yards per carry. The Chargers defense, it's number 1 in terms of total scoring right now. It's just been on a different level this season, and they've done it without Joey Bosa being healthy. He's had to leave multiple games early. So, again, just both sides of the ball for the Chargers are way better than the Browns, but they're on the road against a team with their backs against the wall. I think this is going to be a close game, but I do think the Chargers prevail. I mean, what I saw last game out of this football team against the Saints was just absolute dominance. You hold the team to 8 points. I mean, even if it is, of course, the third stringer, second stringer, which we saw both of them in this game, it doesn't exactly matter. The Chargers, they go out there, they hold the Saints to 117 rushing yards, which I didn't think the run defense was that great, but it didn't really hurt them too much because, of course, they weren't able to get down into scoring position. And then the receiving, Chris Olave had a good game. Kamara had a pretty good game, if I'm being honest, but no touchdowns, right? So you could score yards, but if you don't score touchdowns, you're not going to win. Remember, the Chargers offense, like I said just 2 minutes ago against the Cardinals, is they had a lot of yards, but they didn't exactly have a lot of touchdowns. And you can't win in the NFL if you're not scoring touchdowns, right? You want to kick 3-4 field goals, go do that. Now, the Chargers are going to win that game 95% of the time, right? And really the offense, Justin Herbert, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, 20 of 32. One thing that I did not mention in my last video that as soon as I rewatched it, I was like, I don't know why I didn't add that, is Herbert's legs. 4 for 49, 1 yard, 1 run came for 38 yards. So the 38 of those 49 were on 1 carry. But you can see Herbert's gotten healthier and healthier after the bye week, and to the point now where he's back to his old self. I mean, Herbert got up to a slow start. At first, it was because the Chargers were running the ball so effectively, and then it was that high ankle sprain. Remember, Herbert was injured in training camp. Missed the preseason, and it took him some time to get up to speed. But this is the prime version of Justin Herbert, the guy that Chargers fans fell in love with. And man, was he on one in this game. Ladd McConkey was as well. 6 for 111, 2 touchdowns, 18.5 average. Josh Palmer, 2 for 72. The explosive plays were there. Rager had a 24-yard catch and run. Disley, 16. Dobbins, 15. Had a long of 15. So Matlock had a catch of 9 yards. I mean, that's incredible, man. It's absolutely incredible, and I hope that can continue against the Browns because Cleveland, they've got a lot of good players on their defense. They've got one of the better defensive coordinators in all of football, for being honest. So it's going to be absolutely crucial that the Chargers get off to a good start because when they do that, they seem to win more often than not. The one game that they got up to a good start was the one against the Chiefs where they had a 10-point lead, but just they were derailed by injury. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this game against the Browns. And if you take a look, if I Google NFL standings playoffs, let's take a look at the Chargers. They are in the playoff picture. As we know, it's going to change a lot. But the Chargers, they're coming in at number 7 in the playoff picture. They have a 64% chance to make the playoffs. They're right up there with the Ravens, Broncos, Bills, Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs. Now, the thing with the Broncos is they have the Chiefs. Actually, they have the Ravens, and then they have the Chiefs. So, 2 games there that they could very well drop. A team like the Ravens, I mean, I don't know who they play exactly. I know they play the Broncos. I don't know who they play after that. But if the Chargers win this game against the Browns, they have a 74% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, they have a 52. It's very similar to that game against the Cardinals that they dropped, right? If they had been able to win that one, I mean, their chances would have skyrocketed, but they didn't, and they went down a lot. And teams on the bubble, the Colts have a very soft schedule. The Bengals aren't going anywhere. If the Dolphins lose against the Bills, which they probably will in Week 9, their season's essentially over. They're going to drop down to a 4% chance, right? 2-6, 2-7. You might as well just kiss that goodbye. Even if those teams win, it's still going to be tough to come back. But really, the only teams threatening the Chargers right now are the Bengals and the Colts. Now, if the Dolphins do beat the Bills, then they'll be a threat. But if they don't, I wouldn't even worry about them. But the Bengals, I mean, if they win this game, 4-5 with, I mean, we know they can get hot. They're always a second half team. The Colts, just with how easy their schedule is, Joe Flacco's been cooking this season. So, the Chargers cannot lose this game, just like they could not have lost to the Cardinals. Yeah, you're on the road. The Cards are a solid football team. They won their last game after beating the Chargers. But it's just the fact that they kind of beat themselves of not being able to execute in the red zone, having all these yards, and not putting touchdowns on the board. So the Chargers, maybe they want to get a little bit more aggressive, not too aggressive, because with Brandon Staley, they were way too aggressive on 4th down, just going for it when they didn't need to, but just going for it, a 4th and 2, 4th and 3, trusting Justin Herbert, trusting a guy like a Lad McConkey or a Quentin Johnson, who's back now and healthy, to go out there and to make a play. I am looking forward to DJ Chark coming back. I'm not sure exactly his timetable, but I mean, he is 6'3", 200 with blazing speed. He's a guy that is going to be able to make plays when he's healthy. These tight ends, Disley, Hayden Hurst, they're going to have to step up. But the key for the Chargers is their offensive line. We've seen all-in Slater dominate all year, but what about the interior? And Johnson, Bozeman, and Pipkins, can these guys step in? Jamari Sawyer has had a little bit of run too. They haven't really been impressive. The offensive line will dictate how far the Chargers go this season, because if they can run the football, they're going to be very, very tough to beat. Because you have to understand the AFC is wide open. The Kansas City Chiefs are 7-0, but they've won, every game besides one by a score. I mean, these games are all close. I think it was the Saints game, right? I mean, every game has been close for the Chiefs. And the Chargers, I mean, actually, I guess 10.1, but that's another one. But still, I mean, that game was so close, so competitive. The Chargers are only getting healthier, and I'm excited. I think this team's going to do big things this year. How's the schedule looking out after the Browns game? I'm kind of curious about that. Is the schedule tough? Tennessee, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Denver, New England, Las Vegas. It's not that bad. I mean, you have to realize that the Chargers right now, with where they're at, being 4-3, if they can win 6 of their next 10 games, they're basically locked to make the playoffs. And that's not asking for that much, going 6-4. I mean, the Chargers will probably end up doing that. I think the Chargers will probably finish around 10-7. So, but guys, it's your boy Thunder Alley. I'm signing out. Have a great night. Happy Halloween for those of you that celebrate it. Peace.